to fight Pacquiao, then I'd take care of that also.
Floyd, Pacquiao just faced the last two guys you also faced. Who do you think was more impressive? You or Pacquiao?
Me, of course.
Really? What's more
Absolutely.
impressive, a split decision and a 10th round knockout, or an 8th round KO and a 2nd round KO?
Well, what's more impressive is Oscar De La Hoya, when I fought him, he fought at his walking around weight, which is 154. And he was when he made 147, he was a dead man, and he was fighting in 8-ounce gloves. And when I fought Oscar De La Hoya, they gave me some 10-ounce gloves, some heavyweight 10-ounce gloves. And when I fought Hatton, I knocked Hatton out with 10-ounce gloves on, stepping back when he was undefeated.
It's a fair point.
It's
a fair point, and yet he barely lost a round to both guys, and you had a late knockout and a split decision win. It's hard to argue you were actually more impressive, Floyd. How do you figure?
Well, the thing is this. We know Oscar De La Hoya killed himself to make 147. And we know that's not Oscar De La Hoya's walking around weight. When I tried to get the fight with Oscar De La Hoya at 147, they said absolutely not. I couldn't even choose my own gloves when I fought Oscar De La Hoya. They chose the gloves for me. And with the Ricky Hatton fight, I beat an undefeated Ricky Hatton. And once I beat Ricky Hatton, he was never the same. Once I beat a guy mentally and physically, he's never the same.
He won 2 fights after that fight. He won 2 fights after that, including against Paul Malignaggi. He looked decent in that fight.
Decent. Paul Malignaggi is a good fighter, but Ricky Hatton supposed to have killed this guy, from what I've heard.
Floyd, why?
The second down, getting to 154, 3 pounds makes a big difference. Going away, 2 pounds make a big difference, especially when you're going down so low. So I think at 160, he's a better fighter.
So tonight we had a rumble in the heavyweight division.
What's good, YouTube, man? I'm back with another video, man. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for clicking on the video. So I'm going to get straight into it, man. So I'm going to highlight this first point right quick, okay? And it's what particularly, what Floyd was talking about with Brian Kenny. Now, I'm going to say this. Brian Kenny is a perfect example of the average Terence Crawford fan that you see on a day-to-day basis, whether it's on Twitter, YouTube, wherever, you know what I'm saying? He basically represents the average Terence Crawford fan because, he brings up points like, oh, Manny Pacquiao had the more impressive performances than Floyd because, he knocked these guys out faster. Cool, right? Same thing that Terence Crawford fans say, like, oh, they fought the same guy, but he did this to him, versus what Spence did, da-da-da-da, right? Average Terence Crawford fan, right? Cool. Now, obviously, that conclusion cannot lead you to the truth because it meant nothing at the end, ultimately. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, it meant nothing because, him stopping those opponents faster or beating his opponents more decisively had no impact on the final outcome of those fights. Cool, whatever. So ultimately, it doesn't make no sense for people to keep saying that. So, but what I want to say is a lot of Terence Crawford fans do not seem to understand why he does not get credit for his wins. It's a failure to understand the sport. It's what's really hurting these guys the most, And another thing is pretty obvious. It's the Kell Brook, That's one of the things that kind of stick out, So Kell Brook, they always say like, oh, Kell Brook, he was damaged when he fought Spence and, he had 3 wins. He wasn't washed up when he fought Crawford. Be quiet. Understand the sport and be quiet, bro. You must understand, my nigga. If you coming off of 3 wins, that has nothing to do with the state that you're in right now. Now, I'm going to say this, right? You have to understand how making weight actually works, bro. Now, was Kell Brook done when he fought Terence Crawford? I would say no. He wasn't done. But come on, dude. He was not in no great condition to compete at the high level, especially coming down in weight. Now, here's a key point, right? It's a guy that I see on YouTube all the time. I'm not going to name drop him. But I see him on YouTube all the time. And I seen this dude say, Spence is squeezing down to make 147. But Crawford is gonna be stronger because, you know, he don't have to squeeze down to make the weight. My dude. Now this same guy that said that also tries to defend how Kell Brook was a legitimate opponent. Like, please explain to me how Spence is not gonna be as strong because he's squeezing down in weight, which I do think is true. You know, Spence not gonna be as strong, but Kell Brook was. You gotta think, bro. When you trying to squeeze down to make that weight, you know, you're not gonna be as quick. You're not gonna be as alert. You're not gonna, your punch resistance not gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to squeeze down to make that weight, you can't really drink water in camp. You can't really eat how you want to be comfortable. It's not a comfortable camp. It's like a weight camp. Like, okay, my main objective is just to get this damn weight now. I'm going to train to get this weight now so I can get this fight. You know, just on some strictly professional shit. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't in no top form. Come on now. He was not in no top form. You making a guy suck down all the way down to 147 after all them years of not making that weight. Come on now. I ain't even gonna say all them years to like put exaggeration on my words, but it was 3 whole years. That's a long time, bro. Like, imagine trying to go down to the weight that you was 3 years ago. If you gain weight, you know what I'm saying? Imagine trying to do that. So it's like, nah, you know. But these 5-pound differences, those are huge differences. You know what I'm saying? Huge differences. Like, you gain 5 pounds, you can move up one weight class, you feel a lot stronger. So all that strength that he acquired from moving up in weight, you know, got taken away from him when he fought Crawford. He wasn't this, like, you know, people try to act like this dude was still, like, you know, in contention. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he was a good fighter, but come on, his time for being at the elite level was done. I mean, you can say whatever you want about the Kell Brook win for Crawford, but no matter what you say, he was not at the elite level no more. So what sense did it make to even fight him? How can you expect to get elite level credit for beating somebody who was not even fighting elite level competition no more? He was done at that point. It's like, okay, he's an elite level fighter, and once you stop fighting elite level fighters, you're not at that level no more. You know what I'm saying? You sunk down, you know? Your competition level dropped, you know? But the main point I want to hit on this video is, you know, how people are very much doing the same thing they did with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. It's the same exact scenario, you know. When you're trying to compare the opponents, you know what I'm saying? When you're trying to compare the opponents. When you're trying to, you know, talk about Bob Arum and Al Heyman. You know, it's the same exact thing. And that was really what was blocking that fight for a long time, was Bob Arum and Al Heyman, you know, the relationship kind of thing that they had going on, you know. So it's just crazy, man, how people was talking about how Manny was stopping these guys and Floyd was scared, how they saying Spence was scared because Buzz stopping these guys. It's like, it's the same thing. But ultimately, the dude that y'all said was scared ended up winning the fight. That's crazy to me. Now, I'm not saying that's going to mean that Terence Crawford going to win, but, hey, if history truly repeats itself, the dude that y'all said was scared won the fight in the end. That's crazy. But this is another guy I want to talk about right here, right? And there's a lot of contradictions, just like the Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather situation, right? It's a lot of contradictions, right? So one of the main ones is how people say Mikey Garcia wasn't a good win. You know, Mikey Garcia was so little. But Terence Crawford is little. Right? Like when they said Marquez is too small for Mayweather. Like Pacquiao wasn't small. You know, Mikey was too small for Spence, but Terence is not too small for Spence. Come on now. Now, here's the thing I want to say, right? It's not about the size all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because you know when a guy's too small and when he's not. I'm going to say this. When Mikey fought Spence, the size factor did not matter, okay? It's about what you do in the ring, bro. What you can show in the ring, bro. Now, let me say this. Let me just bring this up right quick. This will destroy everything. Mikey Garcia fought Robert Easter the fight before he fought Spence. Robert Easter has a 76-inch arm reach, and he's like 6'1". Mikey Garcia not only dropped him, but won that fight decisively. Then he fought Spence, got dominated by a bigger guy, right? And then he fought a guy that was bigger than him, that was 5'11", who's taller than Spence, who has a longer reach than Mikey, and dropped him and beat him decisively. So where did the size play a factor? See, the size problem is only being isolated when it's Errol Spence. Come on, Mikey Garcia was 39-0 with 30 knockouts when he fought Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about what you can do. I mean, it's not about the size of you. It's about what you can actually do in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Mikey Garcia showed no vulnerabilities to say that, okay, he wasn't a legitimate enough opponent to fight at welterweight. You know, it was some concern, sure, but nobody was really like, okay, nah, this is just a terrible fight. He's in extreme danger. Like, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, right? It's not, like I said, it's not about what size you are. It's about what can you do. Like, same thing what came with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao came from fucking flyweight. So if these size things was the ultimate deciding factor in, you know, your success in other weight classes, then nobody would ever move up. You know what I'm saying? There will be no intrigue for this fight with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, because they will automatically just write Terence Crawford off because he's too small. Come on now. Spence started his career at 154. Bud started his career he probably had his first fight since like 130. Probably. I don't know that. But, you know, he really picked up traction at 135. So it's like he's clearly smaller. So why is that not a problem? Oh, because Bud can handle himself in the ring. So don't talk about, you know, you could say, well, Bud got, you know, he got the size and the length, you know what I'm saying? But no, when Mikey was in the ring with Robert Easter, who has a 76-inch arm reach, and he's like 6'1". Mikey Garcia is 5'6". And he dropped him, beat him decisively, bro. So where was the size problem at? Oh, the size problem didn't happen until it was time for Spence to fight him. Come on now. 39-0 with 30 knockouts. Come on now. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? So these talking points that these guys have is just so weak. But it's also been said before about other fighters, you know? So, man, it's going to be very interesting to see how this thing play out. And I want to see what a lot of these guys got to say at the end result. Are they going to cop out and say Terence Crawford age was a factor? His size was a factor? I wonder what it's going to be. That's all I got for right now, man. I'm out.